What would you do if the man who told you he loved you just vanished? No goodbye. No explanation. Just gone. One minute he's planning a future with you, the next he's a ghost. That happened to me. But I wasn't the type to cry and move on quietly. I found out the truth behind his sudden disappearance. And trust me, karma didn't knock. It kicked the door in. If you've ever been ghosted, betrayed, or left without answers, this story will light a fire in your soul. You know how people say, online dating is like playing the lottery? Well, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. My name's Emily. I'm 27, a graphic designer, and after 3 years of bad dates and awkward coffee meetups, I met him. Tyler. The algorithm matched us on a rainy Tuesday night, and something about his bio just felt warm. He wasn't the usual shirtless mirror selfie guy. He had wit, charm, a photo with a rescue dog. We chatted for weeks. Long voice notes, memes, late night calls about dreams and childhood traumas. It felt real. Genuine. The kind of connection rom-coms pretend is rare. So when he flew across the country to meet me, and we spent an entire weekend that felt like a movie, I was convinced this was it. We talked about moving cities. He told me I made him believe in love again. Then, silence. One day Tyler stopped replying. No texts. No calls. No, I'm busy, or, this isn't working. Just vanished. Ghosted. Like I never existed. At first I worried, was he okay? Was there an emergency? But days turned into weeks. And the worst part wasn't the silence. It was the slow, sick realization. I'd been played. Used. But what Tyler didn't know was that I have a stubborn streak, and a few skills he seriously underestimated. This isn't just a story about heartbreak. It's about betrayal, rage, and the most satisfying revenge I've ever served. You're not going to believe how deep the lies went, or how hard karma came for him. Before Tyler, my life was simple. Not boring, just routine. I lived in a small but cozy apartment in Portland, worked remotely as a graphic designer for a mid-sized agency, and spent most of my evenings with my sketchpad, Netflix, or my cat, Olive. I wasn't some lonely, desperate girl clinging to love stories. I was fine on my own. But somewhere deep down I still held out hope that maybe, just maybe, someone real would find me. And then came Tyler. We matched on a dating app called TrueConnect, one of those newer, more meaningful connection apps. His profile was clever without trying too hard. His photos were clean. No shirtless gym pics, no blurry group shots. He had one with his arm around a golden retriever and a caption that said, "Adopted this fluff ball." He rescued me, really. I still remember smiling at that line. We started chatting one night after I'd had a glass of wine and was scrolling out of boredom. His first message wasn't a boring, "Hey." It was, "I have a controversial opinion. Pineapple does belong on pizza. Convince me otherwise." That cracked me up and we were off to the races. We talked every day for nearly a month. Voice notes turned into FaceTime calls. Calls turned into flirty late-night confessions. He told me he was a marketing consultant living in Chicago working with startups. His work was flexible like mine, and we'd joke about working from anywhere, together someday, maybe Greece or Bali. I told him about my past, the emotionally unavailable guys, the failed almost relationships, the ones who breadcrumbed just enough to keep me around. He said, "I'm not that guy, Em. I know what I want. And I want this." I believed him. It wasn't just sweet words. He remembered the little things, how I liked my coffee, black, 1 sugar, that I wore mismatched socks when I was stressed, that my dad passed away when I was 19 and I still kept his flannel shirt in my closet. Tyler made me feel seen. Safe. Like I could finally exhale. So when he booked a flight to visit me, it felt like the natural next step, not some crazy leap. We planned it together. A 3-day weekend, just us. I picked him up at the airport. I remember the way he smiled when he saw me, like he meant it. We hugged like we'd known each other forever. The weekend was magical. We cooked together. Went hiking. He met Olive, who liked no one and instantly curled up in his lap. We even slow danced in my living room at midnight, barefoot, to an old Norah Jones song. He looked me in the eyes and said, "This feels like home." I was smitten. When he left, we kissed goodbye at the airport. He promised we'd plan our next visit soon. Maybe I'd come to Chicago next. I watched him disappear through security and texted him, "Already miss you." He replied with a heart emoji and "Me too." That was the last message I ever got from him. At first, I made excuses for him. Maybe his phone died. Maybe something came up at work. But hours turned into a full day. Then I sent casual check-ins. Hey, hope you made it back safe. Everything okay? Then less casual. I'm getting a little worried. Can you let me know you're okay? Nothing. His social media. Still active but strangely quiet. His Instagram stories stopped. He stopped posting. Our messages were still there but unread. No green dot. No updates. He didn't block me, just disappeared. Like a ghost. I felt sick. I couldn't focus. I'd go to sleep staring at my phone, convinced it would light up. I replayed everything. Did I say something wrong? Did I scare him off? Was the connection all in my head? My best friend, Mia, was the first to say what I didn't want to hear. Emily, I think he ghosted you. I hated that word. Ghosted. Sounded so casual. So trivial. Like a guy disappearing after a bad Tinder date. But this wasn't that. This was someone who flew across the country, slept in my bed, kissed me like I was the only person in the world, and then vanished. It wasn't just rejection. It was erasure. And the worst part was not knowing why. Was I a game to him? Did he do this to other women? Was he married? That's when something in me snapped. I went from heartbreak to anger. I deserved answers. I deserved to know the truth, not just for closure but for myself. So I started digging. At first it was harmless. A little online snooping. I searched his name on LinkedIn. I checked mutual followers. I googled combinations of his name, city, job. I was looking for anything. And what I found? Let's just say it cracked the perfect image of Tyler into 1,000 sharp pieces. That startup consultant thing? Turns out he was a freelance designer like me, but with a sketchy history of jumping from gig to gig. One former client wrote a blog post about how he took payment and vanished without finishing the job. His Instagram photos. At least one was lifted from a stock image site. Yes, even the dog. And that was just the beginning. But I'll save the worst of it for later. Because once I realized Tyler wasn't just a ghost, he was a fraud, I knew I had two options. Let it go, or hit back where it would hurt. And trust me, I chose option 2. The more I dug, the darker it got. I wanted to believe Tyler had ghosted me for some understandable reason. Maybe a death in the family. Maybe mental health. I was so ready to give him grace, even after he made me feel like a fool. But that hope died the day I found his real Instagram. Not the curated one he gave me with all the dreamy sunset photos and quotes about authenticity. No, I found his personal account, buried under a different username. And the moment I opened it, my stomach twisted into knots. There he was, Tyler, with a woman. Blonde. Smiling. In my city. They were sitting at a rooftop bar I'd literally taken him to when he visited. But the caption was worse than the picture. Back where it all started. 3 years strong. Red heart, love you always, L. 3 years. I read that line over and over like my brain was trying to misinterpret it. 3 years. But we'd met 5 months ago. He'd come to visit me just 2 weeks before that post. My hands were shaking. I kept scrolling. There were more photos. Vacations, anniversaries. A dog that looked exactly like the one in his dating profile. Except in these, the woman was always there. Lila. That's what her name was. Lila, with the bright eyes and that same golden retriever curled at her feet. It hit me like a train. I was the side girl. He had a girlfriend. Maybe even a fiancé. And not only had he lied, he had the audacity to stand in my kitchen, eat my food, kiss me with her lipstick probably still on his shirt, and whisper sweet nothings about our future. The betrayal didn't stop there. I checked timestamps, comments. While Tyler was calling me from his hotel room in Portland, telling me he missed me already, Lila was commenting, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." Face blowing a kiss. He had played me, expertly, effortlessly. I wasn't even his first. His real Instagram was littered with girls commenting hearts, old flirty replies and deleted photos. Tyler wasn't just cheating. He was collecting women. Suddenly all those little things I'd brushed off came rushing back. Like how he'd flinched when I took a selfie with him. Or how he never let me tag him in post. How he said he didn't use Facebook because it's toxic. How he always FaceTimed from quiet cafes with plain walls in the background. How he never mentioned friends or family. It wasn't caution. It was cover. I wanted to scream. Cry. Throw something. I felt violated. Not just emotionally, But like I'd let a stranger into my life and handed him my heart on a silver platter. I told Mia everything. She didn't even say, "I told you so." She just sat there with me scrolling through the photos until I was numb. He didn't just ghost you," she said. "He deceived you. Manipulated you. This isn't just a player. This is pathological." He was right. But what cut even deeper was what happened next. I sent him a message. A long one. No yelling, no begging, just calmly laying it all out. "I saw your real profile. I know about Lila. I know I was just your side project. I don't need an explanation. I don't even expect an apology. But I do want you to know, I deserved better." No reply. He read it. I saw the double check marks go blue. Then, nothing. Within an hour I was blocked. He erased me like I'd never existed. But this time I wasn't shattered. I wasn't even sad. I was furious. And underneath that fury was something sharp. Focused. Dangerous. It wasn't just that he ghosted me. It was that he targeted me. Tyler had scanned through women online and picked the ones who looked emotionally available, trusting, maybe a little lonely. I wasn't the first and I wouldn't be the last. And suddenly this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about every woman he'd left behind feeling confused, discarded, unworthy. That's when the idea of revenge stopped being a fantasy and started becoming a plan. But before I could act, I needed confirmation. Proof. Because if I was going to take him down, not just ghost him back, not just send a petty text, I had to be smart. Calculated. So I created a fake profile. I know. But hear me out. I used photos from an old acquaintance who was now a travel blogger. Someone Tyler wouldn't know. I made sure it was believable. A freelance writer living in LA interested in marketing travel and, you guessed it, dogs. I called her Kate. Within 48 hours of creating the account, Tyler matched with Kate. And not just matched. He messaged first. "You look like trouble in the best way." Smirking face. I stared at the screen in disbelief. The guy who ghosted me, blocked me, moved on like I was nothing, was already out here casting his next net. That's when the real betrayal settled in. It was never about me. It was never about a real connection. Tyler didn't fall out of love. He never loved me in the first place. I was a passing thrill. A vacation. A game. But what he didn't know was that I wasn't the type to get played and walk away. This wasn't just a guy who ghosted me. This was a guy who deserved to be exposed. And I was done crying. I didn't want revenge at first. I wanted closure. But Tyler made that impossible. He didn't ghost me, he erased me. And while I was trying to glue myself back together, he was out there doing it again. Sliding into DMs. Playing boyfriend to whoever bit the bait. It was a pattern. A performance. A game he played with zero consequence. Well, that was about to change. Remember Kate? The fake profile I created to bait him? He became my secret weapon. And Tyler? He was already hooked. He messaged her constantly. Morning texts, compliments, voice notes. He even sent a gym selfie captioned, "Thinking of you." It was laughable. Same lines. Same dog photo. Same act. He told Kate he was single, that he just ended something complicated, that he was ready to find someone real. He had no idea he was talking to the same woman he ghosted 2 months ago. Now, I could have just screenshotted everything and sent it to his real girlfriend, Lila. But that would have been too easy. Too quick. Tyler didn't deserve a quiet unraveling. He deserved to be exposed. Publicly, unmistakably, humiliatingly. So I devised a multi-step plan. Not just to out him but to corner him. With truth, receipts, and the thing he feared most, being seen for who he really was. Step 1, the setup. I let Kate become his fantasy. She mirrored his interests, asked the right questions, flattered his ego. Kate liked all his photos, praised his business ideas, even flirted back just enough to make him chase harder. Within 2 weeks he was asking to meet in person. Perfect. Kate told him she was coming to Chicago for a content creator workshop, which I totally invented. She suggested grabbing a drink while she was in town. He jumped at the chance. But Kate wouldn't be the one showing up. I would. Said Thiller. To make sure the humiliation landed, I needed witnesses. People who knew Tyler, who followed him, who would see the real him crumble in real time. So I made a burner Instagram account, something like @TylerTruths, and started collecting testimonials. I reached out to other women who had followed him or left flirty comments on his public posts. I messaged over 20. 10 replied. 7 shared eerily similar stories. Met online. Fast connection. Same lines. Ghosted or blocked or love-bombed then vanished. One of them had even flown to him, and never heard from him again after their weekend. Another said he borrowed $300 for a client emergency, and never paid her back. We compared notes. Screenshots. Voice notes. A web of manipulation started forming. Tyler wasn't just a serial ghoster. He was a predator in soft boy clothing. I gathered everything into a folder. DMs. Messages. Timeline comparisons. Every detail. I blurred names where needed. But I kept it clean, organized, irrefutable. Then I sent the folder, anonymously, to Lila. Step 3, the ambush. Tyler and Kate agreed to meet at a trendy rooftop bar downtown, the same one from his Instagram photo with Lila. I almost laughed when he suggested it. He said, "I'll grab us a table by the view. You'll know me when you see me winking face." Oh, I knew him. I arrived early in plain clothes, hair tied up, no makeup, invisible. I took a quiet seat near the back, phone in hand. Mia was there too, hiding nearby with her camera rolling. We waited. 10 minutes later he showed up, styled, smiling, phone in hand, probably rehearsing his opening line. He sat at the table. Ordered a drink. Checked his phone. Waited. I let him sweat for exactly 12 minutes. Then I stood up and walked over. When he saw me, the color drained from his face. "Emily," he said, blinking like he'd seen a ghost. I smiled. "Hi, Tyler. Fancy seeing you here." He stammered something about coincidence, that I must be mistaken, but the jig was up. His mask shattered. I pulled out my phone and showed him the Kate account. His face turned sheet white. "You weren't messaging Kate," I said calmly. "You were messaging me. The whole time." Then I slid a small printed envelope across the table. Inside is a folder. Contains every lie you've told. To me, to others. Oh, and a few DMs you sent to women while you were with Lila. You should probably go home and explain that to her. Assuming she hasn't already seen it. He opened it. Saw the screenshots. The names. The receipts. He tried to speak, defend himself, I guess. But I cut him off. "I'm not here for an apology. I'm here to make sure you never do this again. You preyed on kind women. You broke trust. You don't get to walk away without consequences." That's when Mia walked over. Held up her phone. Took a picture. Of him, stunned, red-faced, folder in hand. "You've been exposed," she said. "Good luck explaining this." We turned and left him there, speechless. Alone. Just like he left us. Step 4, the fallout. The next 48 hours. Explosive. The @TylerTruth's Instagram went live. It wasn't malicious. No addresses, no slander. Just stories. Truth. Receipts. With permission from each woman involved. It caught fire. Women started tagging the account. Commenting, sharing. Some said, "He did the same to my friend." Others said, "Thank you. I thought it was just me." The final blow. Lila reposted it. She uploaded a story with the caption, "Thank you to whoever warned me. I walked away. I deserved better." Tyler deleted his Instagram the next day. By the end of the week his LinkedIn vanished too. Word got out in his freelance circles. A few ex-clients commented on forums that they'd been ghosted by him on contracts. His online brand. Fake. The best part? I didn't have to scream, cry, or beg for justice. I just told the truth. And let karma finish the job. It all came crashing down faster than I imagined. The night after the rooftop ambush I lay in bed, eyes wide open, wondering if I'd gone too far. A part of me still felt tethered to guilt. Not for exposing Tyler, but for how public it had become. It wasn't just my story anymore. Dozens of women had stepped forward. Some were laughing. Some were crying. Some just said thank you. But Tyler? He was silent. Until he wasn't. The following morning I woke up to a flood of DMs. Apparently Tyler had tried to fight back. On Twitter. Of all places. He tweeted something vague and whiny like, "Be careful who you trust online. People can twist anything and ruin your life." It backfired spectacularly. One of the women he ghosted, Kendra, retweeted it with the screenshots he sent her 2 days before ghosting another girl. He captioned it. You mean like pretending to love bomb women and disappear? This you? Boom. The replies were brutal. This the guy from at Tyler Truths? How many girls did he ghost again? Imagine being this bold and this stupid. His attempt at playing the victim became the final nail in his coffin. By midday the at Tyler Truths page hit 15K followers. His face, the one he used to model his brand of clean-cut charm, was now being reshared on toxic dating accounts, expose TikToks, and even a Reddit thread called r/scammer spotlight. Someone even turned his apology voice notes into a remix. It was disturbingly catchy. Tyler wasn't just getting called out, he was becoming a meme. And the people closest to him? They weren't buying the act either. I didn't expect his mom to reach out, but she did. She messaged me privately. Hi Emily. I saw what happened. I'm so sorry. I raised him better than this. I just wanted you to know, not everyone believes his lies. She wasn't the only one. A few of his ex-coworkers chimed in too. Apparently he'd left his last startup under weird circumstances, vague complaints, sudden disappearances, a tendency to ghost when things got hard. Suddenly his personal life and professional life collided. A startup he was pitching pulled out. A podcast he was scheduled to guest on canceled publicly and stated, "We don't platform people who manipulate and deceive others." His carefully curated image? Dismantled. Brick by brick. But here's the real twist. A week after everything broke loose, Tyler sent me an email. Not from his usual account. A new one. Maybe he thought it would help him sneak past my block list. The subject line read, "I deserve this. But please read." It was long. Winding. Half apology, half plea for understanding. He admitted to losing control, to chasing connection in all the wrong ways. Said I wasn't like the others, that I got closer than anyone else had. He wrote, "You made me feel seen. That scared me. I didn't ghost you because you weren't enough. I ghosted you because I didn't think I was." I didn't reply. I'd already spent enough time trying to make sense of his feelings. Now he got to sit in the silence, the same one he left me in. And as for me, life moved on. But something inside me had shifted. Not out of bitterness but clarity. I'd reclaimed my voice. My dignity. My truth. And I wasn't alone. Kate, Mia, Kendra, Lila, we all found each other through the wreckage. We weren't just Tyler's exes. We were survivors of manipulation. And now we were friends. One night, months later, we all met up for drinks. We laughed about how we were Tyler's Karma Club. Kendra joked about printing t-shirts. And somewhere between the margaritas and the shared memes, it hit me. Sometimes karma needs a little help. Sometimes it's not about revenge. It's about restoration. Making sure your pain meant something. Making sure someone like him can't just move on and do it again. And Tyler? He's still offline. Still quiet. Still rebuilding, or at least trying to. But every now and then a new girl messages the at Tyler Truths page saying, "He just DM'd me. I googled him first. I'm so glad I found your story." And that, more than anything, is the sweetest part of the revenge. If you've ever been ghosted, manipulated, or made to question your own worth by someone who never truly saw you, let me tell you something loud and clear. You were never the problem. People like Tyler thrive in silence. They rely on confusion. On the shame that keeps you from speaking up. On the fear that no one will believe your side of the story. But when you choose truth, when you speak it, live it, and stand in it, they lose their power. For a long time I thought closure had to come from the person who hurt me. I waited for an apology. An explanation. Something to fill the void he left behind. But what I learned, painfully, beautifully, is that sometimes closure comes when you give yourself justice. Not through cruelty. Not through vengeance. But through truth. Through boundaries. Through refusing to let someone else's brokenness rewrite your story. What happened with Tyler wasn't just about one guy ghosting one girl. It was about how easy it is for someone to turn connection into a game. And how dangerous it is when we let it slide. I didn't set out to ruin his life. I set out to take back mine. And in doing that, I gave voice to dozens of others who thought they were alone. So if you're listening right now and you've been through something similar, if you've ever felt discarded, confused, or made small by someone who swore they cared, know this. You are not alone. You're not too much. And your story deserves to be heard. Tyler's chapter in my life is over. But mine? It's just beginning. Louder, stronger, and filled with people who see me for exactly who I am. Clapperboard call to action. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been ghosted or manipulated like this? Let's open up a conversation. And if you want more real stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a community here, one truth at a time. Because no one gets to write your story for you. Not anymore. Belle enjoyed the story? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Speech Balloon, share your ghosting or dating horror story below. You're not alone. Movie Camera, turn on notifications so you never miss a new drama drop. New stories every week. Handshake, let's build a space where truth wins, karma hits hard, and no one suffers in silence again.